This is episode 70 of the Wilderness Locals podcast. On this episode, Wacedog and myself shoot the shit. We tell some stories. We plan Wacey's grand send-off and offer some valuable advice regarding having children during the hunting season. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Kifaru International, the toughest hunting gear on the planet, bar none. Frontiersman gear, high quality, completely custom, handmade knives. And as always, we're brought to you by Just Shooting Arrows. You just did a podcast with Snyder, and I'm not sure how much of it I can air. I haven't.
Well, you can air most of it.
I haven't listened to the whole thing yet, but it's pretty. I mean, like when I was texting with Snyder right before you guys went on, and he's like, just full disclosure, I've been into the peanut butter whiskey or whatever. I was like, okay, this should be interesting.
We didn't do much shit talking though. We just talked about Kuyu. I think everybody knows what that was about.
Yeah, you know, I think that podcast that I did with Nick really it ruffled some dudes' feathers, you know, and I don't know why. It's like
what one was that?
Me and Nick did one, and we were kind of talking about some supply chain stuff where, you know, it's hard to say that you won't support this company or that company when they're all using the same suppliers and stuff anyways, you know?
Right.
So it's kind of like one of those things where you're sort of the only person that's suffering is kind of you at the end of the day. But I don't know. It's neither here nor there. I think all these brands do a lot for wildlife and hunting in their own way. Like, I mean, I don't hate QU at all. Like, they do Conservation Direct. There's a lot of good folks over there, right? It's cool.
I don't hate Kuyu either. I think they make great gear. I'm just not in love with all of what Kuyu has going on, let's just say.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, different strokes for different folks, they say. So what's going on with you?
I'm just going to crack open this box of drinks here. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same, and we'll start giving her here. But it's been a hot minute since we've done one of these. It's like we said, kind of going into hunting season, it would be tough to sit down and do the frequency of these that we normally do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if did you have an elk down the last time you and I were on?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, we talked there after that, did a recap, but we're just so busy. Well, I think most people understand that it's hunting season, right? So
yeah,
it's tough to do.
I killed a bull, and then I had a baby like 2 days later. So
you didn't have a baby, but you were there.
That's true. Yeah, no, yeah, I was there. I actually wasn't there. Kind of. They kind of kicked me out when shit started hitting the fan. So I was in the building, but you know what I'm saying.
That's good. Yeah. Last one too. Hey.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I'm done. I think four is sort of the max for me. It's a lot, and yeah, no, it's cool. It's good, but yeah, I got a bull down. That was cool, man. It's, I had basically 1 day to go into an area that I know really well from the past few years. I've spent a lot of days and logged a lot of miles in there, and I kind of went into it like I don't have time to mess around. I don't have time to just do calling session after calling session. I was like, I'm just gonna run and gun this thing, and when I start getting into elk, I'm gonna really, I mean, as Drew would say, I'm gonna hold my mud, and I'm just gonna get her done. And yeah, I just kind of stuck and moved all day. I called in a really good bull that wasn't legal, like a really nice old 5x5 in the morning, and then moved across the mountain. And I do like these kind of like these big arching C's as I work down this one ridge, right? Because like it's like 2.5 kilometers wide, this ridge, and it'll take you, the better part of a day to really get into all the folds of it when you're hunting elk in there. But yeah, I came over this one rise and I could smell this bull right away. So I just chirped at him and I could hear him stand up. I heard his rack hit some branches above him, and I kind of had a rough idea where he was. And the wind was okay, but I knew he was going to just cut a big circle and get my wind right away. So I just like immediately started booting it the opposite direction from him as hard as I could. And I was chirping at him to let him know, like, hey, I'm out of here. Try to get him to come with me a bit and not catch my wind if I was moving quick enough. And yeah, we got on the other side of a meadow. I got on the other side of a meadow from him, and he cracked off once. And as soon as he cracked off, I just right on top of him with just a pretty wimpy bugle. And he sort of stopped making noise then. And he just kind of did a beeline straight in the middle of this meadow and stuck a 280 into him. And that was it.
How many grain bull are you using?
It was only 140 grain Accubon instead of a 280 Ackley in that pre-64 that I built.
I don't think anybody knows that I'm a gun guy too.
No. I posted a photo on Instagram the other day of some. I can't remember what it was in the foreground, but in the background, there's a bunch of your reloading gear, and I was like, we're both low key gun guys.
Yeah, like I've always been I'm always doing load development and building my own shells, and always been in the guns. So, But I had some guy busting my balls too on that bull I shot. He said, "Oh, that's a weird looking bow or a weird looking recurve." But I think what people don't understand about me is that like I'm an outdoorsman. Like I'm not just a bow hunter.
Yeah.
Like I hunt everything with any weapon I can, right? So
yeah, dude, there's no shame in any of that, right?
No, but I feel like nowadays you're not considered legit if you're not shooting stuff with a recurve. But I don't really have anything to prove to them.
I think if you're out there trying to prove something to anyone other than yourself, or compete with anybody except your own mind or whatever, challenge yourself, I think you're doing it for the wrong reasons, you know? I know. You see a lot of that inside social media, you know, like a lot of guys give advice they're not fit to give, and I think it's just because they want that weird clout or whatever. I was talking to Nolan from Journal the other day about it, and he's like, man, you guys are cool. You guys are just being yourselves and not faking it or whatever he said, right? And I was like, well, I try, man. So I don't know. I don't I've killed a lot of stuff with rifles and a lot of stuff with archery equipment. I just, I do everything. I gun hunt, I bow hunt, I trap marten, beaver, coyotes, wolves. I'm just an outdoorsman. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. I mean, I for 1 second, I wasn't like, I sure wish I killed that bull with a bow. Like, I didn't care. I was like, I had like a day this season to chase elk. And I mean, I killed that bull in bow range. I mean, he was probably between, maybe just outside of bow range, for a recurve, and maybe at the outer limits of bow range for a compound, like probably 60, 80, 90. Would have been pushing it if he was at the farther end. I didn't range him. I just sent one into him. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things. I mean, I'm getting absolutely massacred by blacktail right now, and I'm starting to regret passing on some of the blacktail that I did earlier in the season with the stick bow. Cause now the rut has arrived, the blacktail rut's here, and man, it's been challenging. The weather's been really tough, and the conditions are tough, and there's been hasn't been a lot of good chances at good deer this year. On Friday, I had the first chance at a deer I've actually been looking at, like good 4-point whatever, and had him at 90 yards for like a second, maybe.
Yeah.
It's just tough, man. Those deer just live in such nasty country, and some of the country that I'm hunting, I mean, they literally share it with goats, right?
Can you shoot these blacktails with a rifle or what?
Oh yeah. No,
why don't you just shoot one with a rifle?
You know, even if I was rifle hunting,
I'm just busting balls.
I know, no, but like even if I was rifle hunting, some of these spots, like a lot of the chances have not been rifle friendly anyways, you know, just split second stuff. Like they're on the move. They're either right on top of does or, you know, whatever.
And hunting stuff with a gun is fucking easy when you go from hunting stuff with a recurve. Like, you know, I shot that bull this year. I'm like, oh, fuck, here I go. Summer sausage ready to go.
Yeah, for sure. There's a component of it. Like, I think the part of it that's easy is the seconds that you go from deciding to shoot to having shot. It's just so much longer of a process with a bow, right? But everything else is the same, you know? You just have to get a little closer is all, right?
Lots of summer sausage.
Yeah, I know, but I can't. I'm dying to get back into chasing blacktail. I got some stuff to take care of tomorrow, and then I think Friday I'll be back and getting after it. But yeah, man, what do you have on the go so far? You're whitetailing?
Whitetail. I'm in work camp here for another week anyway. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know how much time in November I'm going to get to hunt.
Yeah,
it's a par for the course for my life. I'm a very time poor individual. So
yeah.
So it's a wonder I kill anything anymore, to be honest.
Well, why don't I want to hear some stories and stuff. And one thing I don't think we've talked about it at all is you just did a canoe moose trip with your buddy Mitch, right? We should have Mitch on too.
Yeah, I'm actually just texting him right now. He's a pretty good dude. We went set up a little moose camp there, and I think we did 5 days. Mm-hmm. It's pretty good. It seemed like it was just a real late year for moose this year. Everybody I talked to out here, like buddies I know that are into bulls every year, they were struggling to get bulls coming in too. So we weren't alone on that. But yeah, we did a little float trip and it was fun. Seen a herd of elk along the river there. We were floating and some bulls, but we actually got into some bull moose. Like we had a really good bull grotting at us, and we got into moose most every day, but it just seems like we ran out of light. Yeah. The bulls would come in. They wouldn't reply to us until about 10 minutes before last legal light, and we were hustling trying to get to them. It just didn't work out, but it was a fun trip. 10 out of 10.
That's awesome. Yeah. And Mitch is that just picked up a bow, right?
Well, he's been shooting recurve. He actually bought that border off me, but he's been shooting recurve for quite some time. He's very he's a smart dude. Hey, he showed me how to tie better serving knots. And some different things. So I think I've probably been doing it a little longer than him, but he's very knowledgeable, smart dude. He's ambitious. He's young. He's hungry. He's always gets after it, right? So that's fun to see. That's rad. There's no other trad guys around, so it's just and he lives down the road from me, so we're always hooking up doing stuff.
Yeah, I don't think I have any local trad homies. I have a bunch of archery buddies that are local, but Chad's shooting a stick bow. He's shooting I think he's shooting a whistler now, a Tolkien whistler. But he's been out chasing mule deer and stuff with that thing. What
about Cole Hank? Is he a trad now?
Oh, I think he's gonna I think over the winter I'm gonna just stick a bow in his living room or something, and Do you think he's gonna listen to this one? Cole? Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he's gonna listen to.
If he listens to this, I was gonna say Cole Hank, the man with 2 first names.
Yeah, nice. We used to when I was growing up, there's this dude that lived a couple houses down from us. And he had 2 first names, and my dad could never remember his name, so he'd only ever call him Jim. But like my dad would call him Jim to his face, like just couldn't remember his name. He'd be like, "Hey, Jim," yeah, like from 4 houses away, right? Kid would just be like looking around, like, "Who's how's Jim?" But yeah, no, Cole Hank, 2 first names, good dude.
I was gonna bust his balls about that, but
you'll get him on. I think him and Justin are working on a little something. I think they're gonna do some precision rifle stuff. They're hardcore gun guys, those 2 dudes.
Yeah, I seen that. I want them to talk about some calibers too. There's a caliber that piques my interest. It's the 6.5 300 Weatherby mag. I've been looking at.
Nice.
It's a caliber I've been kind of looking through here lately, but
what is it?
It's been around a few years now.
Yeah, it's Magnum cartridge all the way down to 6.5. Kind of like 6.5 PRC almost, eh?
Yeah, but it's I think it's got more freaking foot pounds at 1,000 than the 338 or some shit.
That's cool. Yeah, I've kind of been going back and forth on calibers here, but that 338 Win Mag that I took on our goat hunt is now a 30 Nosler. Yeah, so that should be fun. I think it's going to shoot some 215 Burger hybrids, I think. And yeah, be fun to build a load for it and stuff. Be a good time.
I don't know about them Burgers. I don't know how much weight retention they carry. I've seen some pretty scary stories from guys having them bullets disintegrate. You know,
I see it on both ends. I've seen guys say they pinhole, they won't open. And I've seen guys say they won't make it through the hide. And I've kind of gone hard the other direction out of my 280 Ackley. I'm shooting one of them hammer monolithic copper rounds. And
What is it, GMX?
No, it's made by a company called Hammer. It's called a Hammer Hunter. It's 145 grain bullet. It's pretty high ballistic coefficient bullet. But yeah, it's like a super durable monolithic bullet, right? Whereas, you know, I have a very biased point of view with bullets, so I'll say that right out of the gate, because I made a poor bullet choice on an elk a few years back, and that bull got recovered this year. Somebody else killed it, and we found out where I hit it, and I pretty well hit it flush the first time. Then I hit it a little high the second time, and the first bullet just didn't even make it through the hide, and it was Hornady SST.
Yeah, well, them fucking SSTs are made to expand big time, though. Right? I think they're more of a smaller game, are they not?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, like, I have a bias that doesn't make sense, because I'm scared that a bullet's going to expand too quickly. But it's irrational, because that bullet, like you just said, is it's designed to open fast, and probably if I shot that bullet 200 yards, it probably would have been fine. But I shot it at like 19 or something like that, or 29 or whatever.
I shot this bullet this year with the 130 grain GMX, and them bullets are like 95% weight retention. So they're meant like for going end to end on a moose. You know what I mean? Like them bullets are meant to put some holes. Like that bull I shot, he didn't take a step. He just fell over. So yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right bullet for the right.
That's that high FOC bullet.
Right bullet for the right game animal. I think bullet selection is critical.
Unless you're shooting wolves.
Yeah. Fuck, you know, and I shot a wolf last year with a fucking, I can't remember what the hell I was pushing on that gun, but it was a light game load, like, same thing, mass expansion. And fuck, I didn't find that wolf, and I piped that son of a bitch too. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
wolves are notoriously tough, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, on our goat hunt, I certainly learned that. You know, like I was hitting him with 338, and they were not flopping over dead, you know?
No.
So,
So there's some new news for everyone. Everybody thinks that we're just trad guys.
Yeah, I think most folks know that I am more of a compound guy that sort of turned trad. That I don't know, like I grew up with guns though, right? Like I've had my pal since I was 18 and I've owned a pile of different guns. So I always say like, oh, I'm not a gun guy, but I kind of am, you know?
Man, I grew up, my dad, he bought me like this with fucking pellet gun, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I was just little, man. I was whacking squirrels with that fucking thing. Like, I was just little, man. I remember being a kid, man. I mustn't have been much over 10. Me and my brother, my dad gave us each 22 cooies.
Rad.
And we would leave in the morning. And like, we live in some really remote country and like big timber. And we would leave in the morning and we wouldn't come back till dark. And my dad, when we'd walk in the door, my dad wouldn't even ask what we did that day or where we were. Like, we were 10-year-old kids gone with rifles.
Nice.
And like, I just look at my daughter, my oldest daughter's 13. I would never give her a gun and say, hey, go in the fucking woods all day with bears.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Has times changed that much, or am I just a pussy nowadays?
I don't know if you're a pussy. I just like, I mean, you also live in Grizz country too, right? So, I don't know. Like, that being said, though, I asked you the other day, we were talking, I was like, oh, it's my eldest birthday. She's turning 5. What do you think I should get her? And I was like, waiting for you to say like, oh, you know, those National Geographic experiment sets. I thought that's what you're going to say, right? You're like, get her a little 22, one of them rascals. I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, she's going to kill her sister.
I just bought each of my boys a 22, and they're 8 and 6. So
yeah,
I'm kind of like, really though, like
trying to thin out the herd.
I take my boys shooting and I put their guns in like rests, right? Like in shooting rests, and the gun doesn't come out of the rest. Like, they get behind it, I load it for them, they shoot, and then because I'm really nervous, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I like to have control.
My eldest, she has a Fox longbow. It's like 12 pounds or something. And it's got a triple T string. Shout out Trevor. But I get nervous when she's freaking got that thing at full draw, you know, like she sees a shiny thing, accidentally arrows someone. Like little 12-pound bow will still freaking mess a kid up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not a suction cup bow. I pushed them rubber blunts over all the tips of the arrow. I mean, she's shooting axis. Anytime I break an axis, I just cut it down to her length.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She's pretty Gucci setup for a 5-year-old.
I bought each of my boys, I got them custom built longbows, and I made them like I had a whole whack of like gold tip 340s and just a bunch of over spine shit from when I was shooting that super recurve.
Yeah.
So I just cut them down and they just fucking lose those arrows, man. Like,
oh yeah.
I told them, I'm like, I'm never buying you guys arrows until you learn to freaking find your own arrows, because it's too expensive.
Oh yeah. There's behind our property, it's one side they grow corn, the other side is just big hay fields, right? And man, I feel bad for whoever cuts that hay field. You know, it's just probably freaking arrows in that hay like crazy.
Do the blacktails come down to the hay fields or what?
Not the one. I wish they did, man. I could probably get permission right behind me. That'd be sick.
It's funny they don't come down and eat that stuff.
The stuff that borders the mountain. I won't say the name of this one particular mountain, but I have a couple buddies that are working this spot. It's a spot that Ronnie's killed some deer too, actually. But it's the one whole side of it is all corn, and the other whole side of it is all berries. And the deer on that particular mountain are well nourished, and it shows, man. They're big for the area, real big. But like my local spot and my like kind of mountain blacktail spots are very they're very I don't know how you would say it, like closed ecosystems even, you know, like they're just browsing on all kinds of random crap in the woods, you know, they're eating that thick nasty stuff. But there's not.
I got a buddy I think is in Washington that he's always sending me blacktail pictures. He's like, oh yeah, this is like 100-inch deer. He's like, that's a good blacktail.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I can't get on board, man. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, Jeff's always teasing me too. He's always like, oh yeah, you got them baby deer lined up or what? I'm like, man, you shut up. Like, I don't know. They're hard to kill. Like, and the funny thing is like where some of the spots I hunt, like you'll see 130, 140, or bigger inch deer on camera, but they're ghosts, man. They're so hard to kill. Like a lot of guys, I think blacktails don't get the respect they deserve in a lot of ways. And like, I kind of don't like talking about them on the podcast as much as I have been lately, only because like if guys start going and trying it in some of these like super remote places, where these blacktails live, they would be like, oh man, this is just, it's epic. Like the hunt is epic. It's so fun. And it's so like on Friday I had Chatty with me, and we're like climbing up this one ridge, and Chad was meant to come on our goat hunt with us. Right. And I mean, I've said it before, Chad doesn't say a lot, but when he does, it's usually something meaningful. And we're like climbing up this ridge, and like, I think one of us fell over like this deadfall and like caught ourselves on these rocks so we didn't fall down the freaking mountain because it's so steep, right? And he's like, so this is probably a lot like your goat hunt, hey? I'm like, oh yeah, this is just every bit as steep and nasty. The difference is it's wet and you're climbing deadfall and it's smashing you in the face, and you know, it's like it's
do you see them come out to feed or anything, or
depends on the country. Like most guys find success with those deer by figuring out where they're at. Like it's a lot of guys say it's impossible to pattern a blacktail. I think that's a geographical thing. I think some blacktail you can pattern. I think other blacktail you can't. Like I think big mountain blacktail you can't. But I think you
can bait too, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Haul some fucking oats up there.
Oh, dude, I've done it. I've hauled many hundreds of pounds of oats into different.
They don't like it or what?
No, not really. They'll hit it in the middle of the night. Like a lot of big blacks. Like that's what I have going on right now. Is like the big boys are all completely nocturnal right now. It's just like. You know, like you only get a couple mistakes. Like I know you always talk about whitetail, right? I think we talk whitetail offline quite a bit, and I always relate the two in my head, because you're like, oh, you mess up on a big blacktail, like you won't see him again until next year, maybe, right? Mm-hmm. It's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot like that with blacktail, because like if you're hunting one particular drainage or something, and you screw up on a blacktail and you get busted or winded, they'll just roll over the next hill. And I mean, there's more ladies over there. Like blacktail are abundant. That's the other component of it, right? You hear a lot of these guys talk about, I hunted region 2 for 2 months. I never even saw a deer. It's, well, you suck. That's why. It has nothing to do with the amount of game. It's like those deer blew out when you were 500 yards away, and you can only see 200 yards away, right?
Yeah, this one time I had a few years ago, I had 170 something inch probably whitetail. And I had this guy pattern, man, like just on trails. He would, in the daylight, he would travel, and he was going to a little slough, and he would drink, and then he would go to bed. And I picked a tree to hang in. And I always had a rule, right? Like I always try to keep a couple 100 yards out from a bedding area. Just don't want to crowd it too much. I started hanging the stand. I got the stand up. I just stepped in the stand, and I looked over my shoulder, and he was bedded right there, looking at me. That fucking deer up and gone. And I'm talking about a deer that was real camera friendly. Like I have him patterned out, moving in daylight.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never seen that deer again. He fucking totally fell off the face of the earth. So I know the effects of if you screw up on a big deer, man. Like, it's generally usually it. You don't get too many breaks with those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this one spot I'm hunting, one of my, I don't want to say his name because it'll give away maybe where we're talking about, but I'll have him on here eventually. But my one buddy, he was showing me some photos of some deer, and I immediately realized that we were hunting the same deer in the same drainage. And it's like way the hell back there and super shitty access. And anyway, I think at the end of last year, I told him like, hey, we're in the same spot. Like, he's like, really? I'm like, oh yeah. And so it's like, blacktail hunting is different in whitetail hunting in the sense that, like, if you drew an X on a map for me, I could probably go sit that stand and eventually kill a deer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Blacktail hunting is like, I can draw an X on a map for you and you might not ever see those deer that I can get into there. You know, it's like, it's one of those things, right? Where like, it's so tough because like the wind and everything else and that terrain is just so thick and so nasty. You know, that's why a lot of guys find success in like torrential downpours, right?
Mm. Yeah.
A little bit of sound cover, a little bit of scent cover, and they can get in there, you know?
Mm-hmm. It sounds like the type of deer you'd like to shoot from about 300-400 yards, to be honest.
Yeah, but good luck finding a 300 or 400 yard shooting lane, right? I think I can't even think of a time that I've ever seen a blacktail that far away that wasn't on a road somewhere, you know?
I see Steve Ranella, he shoots them in the mountains.
Yeah.
Different terrain, probably, though.
That's Alaska, though, right? That he's hunting Sitka deer or Sitka deer.
Oh.
We're hunting Columbia's. So Columbia is a much bigger deer than a Sitka deer.
Mm.
Yeah, like I think right now, I think Alan Bolin or Chuck Adams has the world record Sitka deer right now, and I think it's only 124 inch deer. I think.
It's a giant.
I know, right? Like, I think it's.
I don't even like when I'm driving on the road. If I see like a 140, I don't pump the brakes. Generally, I just
Alberta.
The 150, I'll slack off the gas. 160, I'll slow down, like eventually stop.
Mm-hmm.
180 plus, the binder's wrong.
Well, in 2020, when we hunted Southern Alberta together, when we started seeing deer, I don't know if you remember or not, we were seeing like 150s, 160s, and I was like, I'm gonna go kill that deer, and you're like, no, you're not. Oh no, I'm going to kill that deer. And you're like, dude, just sit tight. I'm like, Wacey, I need to go kill that deer. You're like, dude, the fuck is wrong with you? Relax. Don't go kill that deer. And then like the next day we're just seeing giants all day. And I was like, okay, that 160 is like a deer I kill all day long in BC, right?
That deer we seen at Last Light that night. Mm-hmm. That deer. And I've seen some big deer in my life. That deer was a 200-inch muley.
Yeah.
And I was all hot and bothered over finding him again, but he fell off the face of the earth too.
You know what was interesting about that deer? He just had one single doe. And remember, I bailed out of the truck, damn near died, but bailed out of the truck and then ran around that ridge or whatever and kind of didn't catch up with them, but caught a glance at them as they were peeling off. It was weird. He had just one doe. He was just big old buck, one doe. That's it. And then all the other deer that we found, there'd always be like one real good buck, and then he'd be with younger bucks, eh?
Yeah. Muleys like don't really crank it for me. You know, I don't know. I like seeing a big mule deer, but they're all the same. Like unless you get a non-typical, they're all like they got tops, you know, forks and fronts. And they're mule deer. Whitetails are unique to each to themselves, you know, like every whitetail you see is different.
Yeah. See, like I don't have whitetail in my, like there's whitetail, a couple hours from where I live, but it's just nothing I've never put in any time hunting whitetail. Like I've killed one whitetail ever and it took me a couple hours, Um, so I have like no frame of reference. Like when I come hunt your spot, maybe next year or whatever, maybe I'll understand more. But like right now, to me, like mule deer are just so cool for me because of the country that I can hunt them in. Like all that
Yeah.
all that cool ass country that you spend a bunch of time glassing. Then you do like big gnarly stalk, it gets blown. Then you do it for 4 or 5 days, and then you finally kill a deer, or whatever, or weeks or whatever, right?
Yeah. Mule deer do have that adventure aspect to them, right?
Yeah. I mean, I love hunting mule deer. It's like, I was saying to, I think it was Cole or Justin. I was saying to them, like, I don't know if I'll hunt elk next year, man. My wife will get mad. She likes eating it. But I think I'll probably take a year off of elk and really focus on mule deer hunting next year. But I mean, who knows, if I kill it early in September, then I will definitely be hunting elk.
I have to kill an elk or a moose every year. I got some hungry kids.
Yeah. We're burning through that elk right now, man.
Oh yeah, buddy. I'm telling you, like a full blown moose in my house, be lucky to get 6 months.
Yeah, no, there's no way this elk will make it that far, but I still have half of a nasty mule deer and I have a blacktail in our freezer still. So actually I have some whitetail too. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, but I butchered that last muley and that last whitetail right around the same time. And I didn't label any of the like steaks or any of the roasts. So it's like Russian roulette. It's like you get a pretty funky tasting sage country mule deer or like a nice Kootenais whitetail. It's like one makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up when you take a bite of it.
Man, this fucking guy I worked with one time, older guy, but he shot a fucking rutted up muley buck. I don't know if this is where my hate for muleys comes from or not. And I'm not sure. But he shoots this fucking muley buck one time and he gives me some sausage. I put it in a fucking pan in the house, man, and it just stunk like pissed up buck. And I took the pan and threw the pan right out on the front lawn, and my dog walked up to the sausages, sniffed them, and fucking turned and walked back towards the house. Like fucking. Oh yeah. Like there's this like, nope, not eating that.
A couple of my kids will eat it no problem. I mean, they've grown up now eating mule deer, and
but I've had good mule deer. Like muleys, I've shot like I haven't killed many mule deer in my life. I've probably only killed 5 or 6 with the bow, but
yeah.
But I enjoy it, just as much as any other wild game. But it was just for whatever reason that deer is a fucking stinky bastard.
Yeah, I have one like half that mule deer that's in my freezer. Like I kind of want to give it away and just turn people into vegans,
And I know people say it's how you handle meat. That's true, but I'm pretty good. Like I handle my meat really diligently, but sometimes you just get, I don't know, you just get a funky cut of meat off an animal, I guess.
Yeah. I don't think it's really, I don't think it's age either. I think it might just be what they're eating,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can be.
Like that this particular buck that I have in my freezer right now, he just tastes like sage. Like it just smells like, when you burn, like if you burn sage in a campfire, like that smell that you just can't get out of your clothes or your nose, your sinuses forever. That's how this buck tastes. I don't know. It's rough. I can't wait to get back down to Southern Alberta and chase muleys though, man. It was wicked. So fun. We didn't do it this year just because of a baby situation here and whatever. But I'm looking forward to it. I often relive that moment where we did that super long stalk and crawled through all those hoodoos, and then you peeled off ahead, and then I kind of popped up at this bush, and we kind of had eyes on those 4 deer the whole time, and they were crossing, and I was like, those deer come through and I get to full draw and I was like, Wacey's not moving. I'm going to probably kill this deer and kill my friend at the same time. And,
how cool would that be?
That'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah, I love that. Wacey was a great dude. One of my best friends on the entire planet. He dead. Iron Will S100.
You know what I was thinking, man? If I get killed, I want to get fucking cremated.
Yep.
I want to take that fucking powder and to divvy it up in some bullets. Like I was thinking, maybe you could press it in, make it like an actual bullet. But if you could, mix it in with the powder a little bit, and then shoot me into some shit. That'd be fun. Yeah, let's do that. Like when you kick the bucket, let's talk to Mama Dog there. And we'll get some of your ashes there, and I'll definitely kill some stuff. Do you think you could get him to press me into a bullet?
I think it would be a pretty piss poor bullet, to be honest.
Like, let's just say, like, melt me into like some copper fucking like GMX fucking style of bullet. Like, I would love to just travel through a bull elk, Yeah. But knowing my luck, you'd fucking miss and shoot me into the fucking
into the rocks.
Up the bull's ass or something. Yeah.
He's dead and gay. Knowing me, I'd just completely whiff on it because of the nerves, especially with Southern Alberta or something like that.
I think that'd be a cool way to get sent off. Just fucking. Even if I was mixed in with the powder, I mean, just a little bit, just mix me into about 20 shells,
Yeah. Just a box of ammo. Yeah, that'd be good. You could do at your funeral. What you do is you mix it up, find out what caliber everybody shoots, mix up some ammo there for them, right? And then just like as like you get a goodie bag or something at a wedding. At your funeral, just give out a goodie bag. Like, here, Tom, here's some 270 short for you. Bill, here's some 300 Win Mag. And just like, Thomas, here's some 4570. Like, just all your buddies that go just kill a bunch of shit with you.
I think that'd be gangster. It'd be fun.
That's a good call.
I don't know if it would be fun. I'd be dead, but.
Well, it wouldn't be fun for you, but all your buddies would be laughing their ass off.
I think it'd be a good time. Yeah.
All right. So next one of our buddies that dies, we're going to need your ashes. Yeah. Well, we'll just do it if either of us kick the bucket. Like if we go on another goat hunt here and I just fall off a mountain, if you guys can get to me, just turn me into some, I don't know, 300 Win Mag or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I would be, either that or like, I don't know. I seen a show one time. It was a couple guys and their buddy died and they put him in a 12 gauge shell and they scattered him like that. It was actually really good. It was a moose hunt. They did a float moose hunt. You know what would happen if it was me? If you loaded me into a 12 gauge and you were like trying to shoot it at a goose, it would be a hang fire. And then your buddy would have poor firearm safety and he would like look down the barrel and then he'd get it, That's probably what happened. Take somebody out with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So if there's anybody out there, let me know if we can melt some ash into a bullet.
Yeah. The pressing questions.
I want to try and get this lined up before I kick the bucket.
Yeah. Make sure you let your wife know you have a plan. You don't want her to put it into a flower vase or whatever.
Well, she wouldn't want me around anymore anyway.
She'll probably get a nice young boyfriend. Wacey pup.
I asked her, I said, how long when, after I die, would you find a new man? She said 2 weeks, but I don't believe her. I think it would be a week probably. Yeah. Oh, she's probably joking when she says that. And then she was probably like, ooh. Oh man. Yeah. I don't know. Well, so once you're out of camp there, you're going to try to kill another booner whitetail. Is that the plan? Yeah. If I can get a few days. Yep. You got but I'm doing a career change in mid-November, so it's not the best idea, but yeah.
Yeah, man, with all of this job stuff and then this having this fall baby thing, it's very not conducive to hunting, you know?
Not very well planned out, no.
Well, you know, the thing is I almost got a divorce over this baby. I think I told you this story. She was like, I want to get this fourth baby done another way because we wanted to have 2 or 4 and we had 3 kids, right? And she's like, oh, let's get this 4th baby done. And I was like, well, I think we should try to get pregnant in the summer. She's like, how come? I was like, it'd just be better. You won't be pregnant through the summer. You know, it's hot. She's like, yeah, that's a good point. You know, then a couple of days later, she comes back. She was like, you son of a bitch. I'm like, what? She's like, you just don't want me to give birth during hunting season. I'm like, you're absolutely correct.
Yes, 100%.
Yes, without a doubt, I don't want to have a baby in hunting season. Anyway, so needless to say, the baby was due November 28th, and he arrived 2 days after I killed a bull on October 9th, I think it was. But yeah, so don't be like us.
You know, I ran into, and I'm not the smartest man. I think most people know me. I like to shoot from the hip quite a bit. And I had a baby. I had a baby October 1st and October 15th.
Shit.
But that was
that's not shooting from your hip.
That was 14 years ago. So it's not so bad now that they're growing up. But when they were little, it was tough, you know. But definitely for all the guys out there, make sure you plan the dates.
Yeah.
If you can.
No doubt. Is your oldest interested in hunting yet?
I'm trying, you know, like I bought her a 243 last year and I took her and I had a 150-inch whitetail in front of her. It was 200 yards, but he was standing there broadside and I zeroed that gun for 0 at 200. So I knew it was on and I told her to put it on and just squeeze. And she put it on and she took it off and she put it on and she took it off and she looked at me and she said, Dad, I can't shoot that far. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Don't shoot then. So we watched him walk off and then, so I don't know. I don't want to push him, like
Gritty would have shot that thing right in the guts.
Just because I like to fucking murder animals. I don't mean my kids have to. Yeah. You know, like I want them to, but in the same sense, I don't want to push them at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a lot how you frame it too, right? Like how normal it is in your household. Like in my house, like skinning an animal is pretty normal, right? Like my shop goes out to the patio, so we just wheel a engine hoist with a gambrel out there if if an animal's not quartered out. And it's like a whole thing. My wife's out there, my 5-year-old's out there, everybody's working on it, you know. It's just normal in our house, right?
Oh yeah, it's fucking definitely dead shit around my place is really normal.
Yeah, I think it helps, man. And I think like my kids, all of my kids know where food comes from, you know. I was working on that elk this year. And I actually took it to a butcher. I had a butcher do most of it, but I was just cutting steaks out of back straps and stuff, whatever. And how old is she? She's like 2.5. She'll be 3 in January, I think. She was just like, steaks. And I was like, yeah, you know, right? Like, you get it. You know where the food came from. And now she's like elk steaks. Like she knows, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. My wife phoned me the other day. We have a bunch of chickens.
Yep.
We had about 40 some hens and there was a black bear on my front lawn eating chickens.
Oh no.
So I don't know how many he got, but my wife wasn't home. My daughter was home. So my wife got home, grabbed the gun, but it was too late. But, yeah. I gotta shoot a bear now.
Yeah. My old lady's got her core now too. So we'll have to get her on a deer here soon and be good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's fun. Like I like to try and keep it fun, I don't want them to take it as serious as I do, you know, but
yeah. I actually just had a conversation. I shouldn't say I had a conversation. I sat in on a conversation with between a dude and Jeff, and they were talking about Tent Talk episode number 1, where they were talking about mule deer, and they were talking about the casual hunter versus the hardcore hunter, like the hardcore hunter being, maybe guys like us that spend a great deal of time getting ready for the season. And then once they're ready for the season, spend a great deal of time hunting. And then, it's like, it's just the stuff that we do. We work towards it all year. I mean, shit, in May, you were like dehydrating mules for our goat hunt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like a lot of people don't understand. Like I always say that, the difference between a hunter and a guy that goes hunting, is a big difference. And like, it's just my life, like my whole life, 365 days a year, man. If I ain't skinning a coyote off a trap line or freaking running trail cams or, putting salt out or whatever, like I'm totally committed. Like I don't do anything else. I don't fucking go skiing. I don't fucking ride bikes. I don't go quadding. Like my fucking life that I have spare time for is 100% committed to this. Like, yeah, that's it.
I'm the same way, man. Like, I don't have any other hobbies. I don't want any other hobbies, like, I have stuff that's related that I do, like archery. Archery takes a ton of time. Playing with guns takes a lot of time.
Like I look at a lot of guys, like they're fucking going to fucking fly fishing in fucking October and fucking, going dirt bike racing, and then they're going to go elk hunting the next weekend. Man, like that shit don't work.
No.
Like maybe some guys can pull that off.
Yeah.
But for me, I have to be 100% committed, man, to have success. Like I have to be committed all the fucking time. And that's all I want to do anyway.
Yeah, no, I would love to spend time fly fishing, right? But it's like, it's one of those things too for me, like having a big family, having a wife, having businesses and stuff, right? I don't think I can do another thing, like that's like when guys talk about waterfowling for me. It's just like, if I had something that I have to wedge into the schedule, it would end up taking time away from big game hunting. And it's just, I'm not willing to do it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, unless you're a single guy and you can do it all, maybe you can.
Man, if I was a single guy right now, I would just like, I would never be able to hold down a relationship ever. Like the way that I live my life and the way that my brain works. Like maybe it would be different if I was single, because I didn't have a hot looking woman at home to take care of me. But I do. And, dude, I don't know. Like it's
like, is Justin and Cole single?
No, Cole's got an old lady. They're working on her first deer right now. She had a good chance at a deer that's now called Terminator for obvious reasons. And, she had some good chances at some other deer that she passed on because she's been listening to too much tent talk. And, they're going to try Cole's old lady.
Oh, so he's got one. Does Justin have an old lady or no?
No, he's I mean, him and Jeff.
So you know what I'd do if I was that guy? I'd get a fucking job, like just bank cash, man. Like bank some mad cash all summer. Mm-hmm. Go stay in a camp and just fucking hunt like September, October, November, man. Just like go balls out hunting, right? Yeah.
No, I'm with you. That's the problem, is what I'm saying. Like if I was single right now and I had this frame of mind, like I'd never own a house or I'd never have kids or a wife or anything, So
I'd live in a fucking van today. Like I got no problem.
You can find Wacey down by the river in a Kafaru sawtooth.
Yeah. I got no problems fucking living out in a van or something if I could just hunt, man. That's all I want to do.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like my two priorities in life are my family and hunting and having fun. And then this podcast thing has turned into a whole thing that's fun, and I intend on keeping it fun instead of a job. So we'll see.
I don't get to see like a lot of the shit that you see with the podcast, like people messaging you and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't see that.
I can start forwarding them to you instead. Like, I mean, a lot of folks that listen to these things will message me after. Like, I don't know. I get quite a few messages for each of these. So maybe guys, hit Wacey up a bit at Wacedog.
No, I'm okay.
No, message him directly. Any questions you have? I get a lot of questions, and then I often defer the question. I think some people on here get the idea that I have more experience than I do, and I always try to tell guys I started hunting in my late 20s, and I'm in my mid 30s now, and I hunt an absolute ton, but I don't have the decades of years of experience as a guy like Wacedog, and I don't have the hundreds of animals down like you do. So,
man, this one time,
yes,
we got time for a story, hey?
Yeah.
So one time, my dad bought me and my brother a go-kart. This is around the 22 era, like we get in this thing, and there's a neighbor about to the north. He lives like as far north. I don't know how far he is. They're little ways, and we go up to this guy's yard because we knew he had a bunch of granaries up there, and we'd fucking get in the granaries with these squirrels and just assassinate squirrels. We wouldn't ask for permission or nothing, right? Like we just we would take this go-kart around the country and go shoot squirrels out of people's yards and shit, like just fucking bad kids, man.
Yeah.
But we got paid money for the hides, for squirrel hides. So it's good. 25 cents a hide.
Oh yeah.
So we were just giving her. It wasn't. I only just started seeing squirrels show back up around there like the last few years. Fucking extinct.
If you look on any biologist report for the area, you could be like, in 1993. The squirrel was extirpated by the area from Wacedog and his brother something dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There you go.
We grew up shooting critters, it seems like, but
yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah, I grew up messing around motorcycles and hot rods and just stomping around the woods every weekend. We never stayed in the city. I grew up in the city, but we were never in the city on the weekend. I think my dad was just trying to keep me out of trouble.
Man, you should have seen this one time. I had a 1985 Chevy. It was 2-wheel drive, 5-speed.
Yeah.
And I had a blonde with me. I hope my wife doesn't listen to this.
She won't. Does Lindsay listen to these?
She does. She checks me on a lot of bullshit too.
Does she? She's like, that didn't happen. No,
she just be like, fucking tells me I need to talk more and stuff. She says, so anyway, I got this blonde with me and I'm heading, this is like, I was 16, 17. So like there was a time when, I would like skip the whitetail rut to go party with women, right? Like it was most young men. Yeah. But I'm hauling ass last night, man, like November 11th, we're going to a house party. And there's this muley doe, and she's running down the side of the road, and this fucking whitetail comes out. I'll never forget this deer, man. He had a 200-inch frame. He had four club drops, and he had stickers everywhere. Like this deer was fucking insane. He's the biggest deer I've ever seen. Whitetail buck chasing a muley doe. Yeah. And I slammed on the brakes on that old fucking Chevy and just stared at that buck at 50 yards, man. And just fucking couldn't believe it. So that's what partying during the whitetail rut gets you. So. Oh
yeah. Well, yeah.
It was a good night.
It wasn't a 200-inch frame deer night.
No. So if I could go back and do that again, I would went hunt that night.
Yeah. I never really partied growing up, man. I was just I was playing sports, and I grew up playing hockey and lacrosse and getting in fights and being stupid and building hot rods and stuff like that. So no, it was good. Hiking, riding dirt bikes, Yeah. So,
yeah, everybody. I think there's a lot of new hunters. Every year, I think there's a lot more hunters, especially with the price of things too.
Yeah, it's good.
Which is good. It's good, man. Like, stay out of my spots. That's all I care.
I mean, I don't know. Whatever. Yes, I don't know. BC's big. There's lots of land. Go hunt wherever you want. I don't care.
That's where
if you see me, I will lie to you, though. Absolutely, I will lie to you, and I'll tell you I'm lying to you too. There's no deer here.
That's where Wilderness Locals name came from.
It is where Wilderness Locals name came from, and I feel bad.
Did you ever tell anybody where it came from?
I think I said it. I've said it on the podcast once. You know, like when it's like kind of a play on a surfing thing from when I first started hunting. I met these dudes in this one hunting spot, and they were what I perceived as successful hunters at the time. And they were kind of like, oh yeah, you don't tell nobody about this spot. This is a local spot, and only locals are allowed there. You don't go there without us, and all this stuff. And I was like, I mean, I grew up in a much different world, and I kind of never had that attitude. And I was just kind of like, man, I'm a local everywhere. Fuck off.
You're a local to the wilderness.
Word, right? Like just wherever you want to go. As long as you're following the rules and being a good outdoorsman.
Are you sitting in your driveway or what?
Me? No, I actually just got to the hospital, and I am going to walk in there and go check on my son. He's in there for about another month, so it's a good spot for us to sign off of this thing, eh? Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe and leave us a review. You can follow us on Instagram at Wilderness Locals. If you want to support the podcast, please check out the gear, articles, and whatever else we're up to on the website at www.wildernesslocals.net.